Hello, Stitchy friends. Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing? I hope you're having a good week so far. Today is Tuesday, May 7th, 2024, and this is Flosstube number 13. You've stumbled upon the Runner Stitcher channel. My name is Andrew, and you're very welcome here. If you're new, thank you for joining. Thank you for taking the time to check out what I'm working on and see my cross stitch and a little bit of my running journey. If you're coming back for more, I thank you so much for always continuing to support me and just coming back to see what I'm up to. I really appreciate it, and this community has been amazing. So I have a lot to talk about today. So this might be a little bit of a longer one. Hopefully I'll keep it to my normal length, but we'll see. A little bit of a housekeeping things at the beginning. I just wanted to say that the giveaways from the 3,000 subscriber giveaway have all contacted me, and all of their prizes have been sent in the mail. So they should be, I know one of them received it already, or two of them received it already, and the other two should be receiving soon. So thank you so much for everybody who kind of watched that video and took place in trying to get one of those. And the giveaways have all been sent out, so you should be getting them shortly. The next order of business I just wanted to discuss was running a little bit. So here in New York, it's finally feeling like spring, and we've had just like a week of glorious running weather. This is probably my favorite time of year to run because usually in the mornings it's a little bit cooler. It can be like in the 50s, which is kind of perfect for running. And then it'll still warm up by the afternoon into like the upper 60s, lower 70s. And that's really what it's been like. So it's just been a dream to be running in the morning. I know that might sound weird, but I really have been enjoying it. So again, I don't have any races lined up until the beginning of June. I have a 10K lined up then. But I will be volunteering, I think, for a race in the middle of May. And so that'll be coming up. That's just a volunteer commitment. So I'll be at the starting corral kind of helping everybody know where to go. But I think that's like the middle of May in 2 weeks. So, and then the next big race I have is the Chicago Marathon. I'll be running that in October. So training for that marathon starts in June, early June. So once I hit that training session, my runs will be mapped out for the rest of the time until October. So that will get kind of busy, but in a good way. I haven't been training for anything recently, so it'll be nice to kind of get back on the training plan and follow a guide of what I'm supposed to be running each day. So those are just a little bit of what's coming up for my running. I'm going to switch this up a little bit today, and I'm going to talk about plans first. I know I normally jump right into stitching, but today I'm going to talk about plans first. And you'll kind of see why as I start talking. But the last time I spoke with you, we had not received the May WIPGO numbers yet. So my plans for May were kind of a little up in the air because I didn't know what WIPGO was going to call. But WIPGO numbers have been called, and number 13 was called as well. So the numbers were 5, 13, and 19 this month. Now, 5 for me was a pretty big one that I have on my list. So it was Fruits of Plenty. And my goal is to complete 4,000 stitches this month. So that's pretty hefty. Number 13 was kind of lucky in a good way. I had put on there, if number 13 was called after May, then I would put 1,000 stitches into Gaia, the Earth Goddess. Well, Gaia was a start in May for Kat's birthday from Katkin and Lilly. And so it was perfect that it was called and I could get 1,000 stitches in for the start. So that one has actually already been taken care of. And I'll pop a picture of my WIPGO board here just so you can see everything that I'm talking about. The final one that was called was number 19. For me, that is a Pancake Stitch, which I'm really excited to do. I don't know why. I saw this on Etsy. It's from a store called Sammy Stitches store on Etsy. And I saw this and I was like, this is just so fun. I could just see it on Black Ada and it would kind of like pop and could put it in the kitchen, and I love pancakes, so why not? But that number was called, so that will be a start this month as well. And my goal on that is to put 1,500 stitches. I think I'll be starting that probably towards the middle of the month, maybe 15th, 16th, somewhere around there. I'm going to try to get as much into Fruits of Plenty as I can the first part of the month, and then see where I'm at, what's left on that, and get the pancake piece started. all of that to say, my whip go board, that's a lot of stitches this month. So with everything else I thought I might be doing in May, and I know May is mania, so it's kind of appropriate that the extra number was called in May, but with everything else going on, with all of the whip go stitches, I don't really know how much I'm going to actually participate in the May events going on. We'll see. So on top, those are my whip go plans for the month. On top of that, I'm doing my 5-4-3 rotation again, which is where I pick a project for 5 days, pick a project for 4 days, and one for 3 days. So this month, I picked Gaia, the Earth Goddess, for 5 days. The reason for that was I really wanted to get a good start on this piece. I knew I was starting it for Kat's birthday, and I didn't want it to just be like a small start and then it kind of gets put away. So I thought if I dedicate 5 days this month, that will give it a really good start, and I'll be able to see some progress already, and it'll be easier to pick that back up. So I actually have put in 3 days already on that, so I've only got 2 more to go, and you'll see that in a little bit once we get into whips. My 4-day rotation this time is going to be Fruits of Plenty. This one I was hoping for something else, but because WhipGo changed my plans, I needed to give Fruits of Plenty some extra days to get to that 4,000 mark. So Fruits of Plenty is going to get the 4-day slot. And I've got 1 day in already and 3 more to go this month. And that will be my 4-day rotation. And then my 3-day rotation will be Lily of the Woods, which you've seen a lot, and still kind of my focus piece. I really would like to finish that by the end of the year, and I think I can if I keep giving it decent amount of days and progress. So that's going to be my 3-day project this month. Those are my rotations. And then other plans for the month. So Sarah, her channel is Sew Me Sarah. She is starting 50 starts this year for her fun year of 50 sal. I forget what the sal is called, but she's starting 50 projects for turning 50 this year. And she announced that one of the projects she's going to be starting this month is Bee Queen by Tiny Modernist. Go ahead and show you what that looks like here. Sorry about the crinkle. And I actually had this fully kitted up with the Ada and the threads. And so when she announced she was going to be starting it, I was like, I should pull this out and just get a start on it with her as well. I also wanted this, I'd got this to be sort of a summer stitch anyway, so it's kind of perfect that she's starting it in May, and then I'll have it ready to go whenever I want to pick it up this summer. So she's going to be starting that on May 27th, and I think I'm going to join along with her on that day and at least get a start on that one day. And then from there, I'll probably pull it out more this summer, and you'll see it more as we go. So that's another new start I've got in May. I guess May is turning out to be the month of starts for me, but that's okay. The next thing I wanted to mention was I just finished watching Marjorie Maid's latest Flosstube. If you're not watching her channel, I'll link it below. She is lovely. I really enjoy every time she puts up a video because she's so honest on the video, and I love the project she's working with. It's just fun to hear her talking about like how her tastes have changed and what she's working on now. And anyway, she's just a lot of fun. So I was watching her channel, and she mentioned she's going to be starting a new stitch along in June. And this one, the hashtag is going to be Strawberry Moon Sal. So I guess June is the Strawberry Moon month. And so she's basically just inviting everyone to stitch on something with strawberries. Now, I have had this in my stash for a while. I picked it up because I knew I really wanted to stitch it, and it's actually on my WhipGo, so no matter what, at some point this year it's going to be started. So I figured even better, why not start it with Marjorie for her Strawberry Moon Sal. So what I'll be starting is Strawberries Forever from Tilton Garden. This is, oops, I'm showing some of the pattern. This is what it looks like. And yeah, I've had this in my stash for a while. I really, really love this piece. It reminds me, so I grew up in Pennsylvania, in Lancaster, with the Amish all around me. And I remember in the summers, they would have little strawberry stands at the end of their driveways where they would just have little pints of fresh strawberries that they picked. and a jar that you would put money in. So it was based on the honor system, basically, and you would just put in whatever that they were charging for the strawberries and then grab your fresh pint of strawberries. And they were always delicious. You know, my mom would make strawberry pie, we'd have strawberry ice cream sometimes, strawberry shortcake, and I always loved it. So when I saw this pattern, and I'm going to try to not show the pattern, but when I saw this, it just reminded me of home in Lancaster and how, you know, they're picking the strawberries in the field and they've got their quilts and they've got their little strawberry stand here. And anyway, I just thought it was so cute and definitely reminded me of home, so I wanted to stitch it. So I'm going to be picking this up. I don't have a date yet because it's not fully kitted. I still have to get all of the threads for it, and I've got some fabric choices I'm still kind of playing around with, but at some point in June I will be starting this with Marjorie. So if you have any strawberry pieces that you want to join along as well, check out her latest video to get all the details of the SAL, but feel free to join us in June and stitch along your strawberry pieces. It'll be fun. Okay, so I think those are my plans. Now, I guess I should talk about some unplans because I had mentioned in my last video that I might be starting a new Mira for Mira May. I don't think that's going to happen, unfortunately. Just with all the other starts I've got planned, and I've already got 2 Miras on the go, I think it's just not going to happen this month, which I'm okay with. I had one sort of picked out. I had the fabric for it, but I don't have any of the threads or, you know, specialty threads or beads yet for it. So it was going to be kind of rushed to get it started anyway, and I just think I'm gonna wait on that. I also was thinking that I kind of would like to maybe stagger my Mira pieces where I would have like one at the 75% mark, one at the 50% mark, one at the 25% mark, and then as they kind of grow and get finished, other ones kind of slot into that place. So right now I've got the Kiss, which is, I think I'm about 7 or 8% completed. And then I've got Lily of the Woods, which is just about at 50% now. Not quite, but almost there. So I kind of would like to maybe see if I can get that going, where I would work on the Kiss up to maybe about 25%. And then I would be able to start a new Mira since Lily's already at 50. Anyway, all that to be said, I don't think I'll be starting a new Mira this month, but stay tuned. There's plenty more in my stash that will be coming down the road. The other unplanned, I guess I should mention, is I know I talked about starting Lola Crow's The Deadly Aquarium Sal. I do have the fabric. I have got all the threads. I just need the time to start it, and I have not had that time. Well, I have, but I've just been dedicating it to different projects that were calling my attention. With WhipGo this month being a pretty large portion of what my month will be, I don't know that I'm going to have time to start it this month anyway. And that means I'll be really behind once the motifs start coming out. I won't even have the frame done. So I'm not putting pressure on myself to start that anymore. I still love it. I love the frame. The seagulls on it are so cute, and I do want to stitch it at some point, and I think I will, but I'm just not putting the pressure on myself to kind of keep up with it. So that's sort of an unplanned. If you were counting on seeing that here, you'll probably see it eventually, or maybe you'll see little bits and pieces, but it probably will not be keeping up with the Sal. So just wanted to kind of clear the air on that. Okay, so enough about plans. Let's jump into my stitching, because I do have some stitching to share this week. So these are my works in progress. The first one I've got is the Beyonce piece. This is from Tilton Crafts, and you've seen it in April because it was my WhipGo call, and my goal was to finish 3,000 stitches on it. This is stitched on a 25 count. Is it 25 count? 25 count black Lugana, and it's stitched 1/1. So tiny, very tiny stitches. I will put a picture up here of where I was last time, and sorry, I'm a little distracted. My phone keeps dinging. Maybe I'll cut that out. Okay, so you saw where I was last time. For my WhipGo goal last time, I had about 300 stitches to go. I think it was actually like 270 that I needed to complete in the last couple of days of April. I'm happy to report that I did that. I stitched 297 stitches on, I think, April 30th, on the very last day. So that put 3,000 stitches in for the month. And that's kind of where I stopped on this. So you're probably not going to see much progress or much change from the last time, because all I did was 300 stitches. So here she is. You can see her hand there in the center, and I just filled out a little bit more on this section here. So I'm really excited for this piece. I don't know when she'll come back out, but it's been fun to actually see her coming together. And so now I have a really, really good start to pick this back up and keep going. So that was Beyonce by Tilton Crafts. All right, next up is the Whip Go call for this month, Fruits of Plenty. So the last time you saw it, I put a picture here. It doesn't have the first little motif. Maybe I should put the full, here's what it looks like total. And I had stitched the first motif in the upper left corner with the birds. So the picture you saw was where it was at this time, just on the middle motif. Obviously I didn't have much completed yet, but I have been working on it. And so this month I added, this is just since May, I added 1,303 stitches, and I'm now at 10.37% on this project. So I feel pretty good about that. I really loved picking this back up. I looked back, I think I haven't stitched on this since January, which is crazy. This was my New Year's start in January, and I have not picked it up since. Well, since January. I did work on it for the month of January. But coming back to it, it felt so good. And because there's only 2 colors, it's very easy to just get a lot of stitches in. And I just was really loving it. So I'm happy I got over 1,000 stitches in already, which means the 4,000 is definitely accomplishable. I think before this month, I had about 3,800 stitches completed on the project. So by giving it 4,000 this month, I'm actually going to double the progress that I had on this piece, which I think is awesome. And that's why I put that on the Whip Go call. I knew it'd be a lot of stitches, but I knew it would really jump the progress on this piece. So enough of me blabbering. Here is where I am now. So you can see I put in all of these stitches here in the light green to get the 2 and the 0 for 20. And then I brought the top border all the way over to here, and I filled in all of this section here with these motifs. A little bit of these as well, and some of this column. But again, just really fun, and I'm super excited to bring this back out. I will be starting on this section next, since that's here in my Q-snap, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So this is stitched on a 32 count smoky white Belfast linen, and I'm stitching it 2 over 2. And yeah, I'm using 2 of the green threads instead of the blue that was the original called for, but I've seen a lot of people kind of change the colors on this piece, and I really just liked the look of the light green and the dark green. So yeah, fun to pull this back out. You're going to be seeing more of it in May, and it is on my Whip Go board for another call for another 4,000 stitches, so you'll be seeing it again this year. I knew I wanted to put that on there to get some decent progress, so a lot of fun. This is from, if I didn't say, it's from Modern Folk Embroidery. Jacob's pieces are amazing. If you haven't ever stitched one of his pieces, I highly recommend it. You can go to his website and check out all of the different designs he has. He releases them pretty often, and all of his work is just beautiful. So really grateful for this piece, and I'm so happy to be stitching on it again. Okay, next up we have the Slumber Party Sal. This is from Sewing Starfish, and I'll link her Etsy channel down below in case you're interested in joining. So far there's 5 motifs out, and the frame is fully out. I am already behind. And that is another reason why I just didn't think that the Lola Crow stitch along was going to happen. I really thought I'd be able to keep up with this stitch along, and the motifs are packed full of stitches. I think they're probably like 500 or 600 stitches each motif. maybe not quite that many, maybe like 400, but still it feels like a lot. And I'm still not fully done with the frame, which is okay. I knew that. I would work on that towards the end if I needed to. But yeah, it's just tough even just keeping up with this one. And her motifs come out every week. So it's easy to get really far behind because every Friday there's one or two more and they just keep piling up. I think there is a rest week coming up and maybe by then I'll be able to catch up on everything. But anyways, this month or these 2 weeks I put in 1,130 stitches. And so just of the frame, I'm at about 53.84%, and I've got 2 of the 5 motifs done now. So here is Slumber Party Sal. So I think the last time I had started on this little invitation, and I think I had maybe the invitation complete, but not the envelope. So as you can see, the invitation to the slumber party came in a beautiful pink envelope, which is so fun. And then the next motif, which I love, are these cute little bunny slippers. How adorable is that? I really love that. And it's fun stitching white on this black Aida. The way it pops is so cool. I love it. So I'm very, very, very happy with those. And then there's 3 more motifs released. So I think there's a clock here in the center, and then there's pajamas here. And I think the final one was a mirror. Oh yeah, there's a mirror here, which is really cool. I can't wait to get to that one, although it looks huge. It's a big motif. So here's kind of the full thing of where I am now. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I really am enjoying it. I am hoping to get caught up, but again, not putting pressure on myself. Hopefully in the week that there's a break, I can get some more stitches in and get more completed on it. But either way, I'm really enjoying it. I love the black Aida. And I guess I'm just in my black era because Beyonce was on black Lugana. The pancake piece will be on black Aida. And this piece is on black Aida. So I'm stitching a lot on black, but it is what it is. I'm having fun. Okay, my next whip is Lily of the Woods by Mirabilia. And I'm stitching this as my first Mira. So this is the hashtag first Mira Sal with my friend Yoshi. He is also stitching the piece and he's got a Flosstube channel. I'll link it down below. He is doing a red conversion of Lily for her dress and it looks beautiful. So if you want to check that out, go check out his channel. This couple weeks I put in 660 stitches for Lily. That was just 2 days. So I had finished up my rotation on her for April and that's all I've worked on her. So I haven't worked on her in May yet, but I did 660 stitches. And so total I'm at 46.98%. So very, very close to the 50% mark. Now, what is exciting this time is I finally gave her a face. Look at that. She's got eyes, she's got a mouth, she's got her hands, her face is fully backstitched now, which is very exciting. I had finished the skin for a while, so her skin has been there. It's just been a faceless skin. And honestly, I've been putting off the skin or doing the backstitching because I was so nervous to do the face and it not look right and not look good that I was like, I'll just do it later. I'll just do it later. And I finally got to the point where I was like, no, you know what? I need to just do it. I need to just try it. If I need to frog it, pull it out, do it again, I will. There were a couple of places where I needed to I tried the backstitching and it didn't really look right. So I pulled it out, tried it a little differently, but here it is now. And I think she looks good. I really do. I like the backstitching a lot on her. So I got that complete. And then the stitches that I did were still in this blue kind of fabric here. I think I worked on this part over here. And this was, again, a blended color. But the blended colors, that's why you see such great dimensions and kind of shading with these colors. The way she uses color is amazing. The way the designer Nora Corbett can just pull out colors and combine them in a way that makes these shadings and darker and lighter sections. It's really beautiful. So that is Lily of the Woods. And this month, again, I'm going to keep working on this blue fabric. That's my next big goal. I kind of got sidetracked with the back stitching on her face, but I'm back in the blue now. And I don't know why that thumbs up is there, but I am back in the blue, and yeah, here's Lily. So I'm really happy with her. Okay. What's up next? Okay, my next whip is Pixel Dragon Adventure Sal from FlossyFox Shop. This is my daily thread. I'm sorry if you're coming back, I repeat myself each time, but I'm stitching this for the Year of the Dragon Sal, which is hosted by Erica, Fibers and Floss Canada, and Samantha, the Higa Stitcher. My goal is to finish it in this Year of the Dragon. I think right now I'm at 57% roughly. You'll see it up there. But you saw where I was last time, and here is where I am now. So I almost finished this little fish. I have to do his tail yet, but the little fish is basically complete. And last time I was working on all of this big sea dragon here, and I've got all of his body filled in, and now I'm just working on the pink outline that goes around the edge. So I've actually made pretty good progress on it. I'm very happy with that. I think by the next time you see it, he'll definitely be fully outlined and he'll be finished, and I'll probably finish the fish. There's a big sword that is down here underneath, or a spear of some sort. I think that's probably the next part I'll go to. And then from there, I'll probably jump back up to the top and kind of work my way over to the edge here and then down. But yeah, really fun. It's cool to see this as my daily, to see the progress that I'm getting. And it's nice to kind of be making steady progress on something that, you know, I might not have touched. I'm stitching this on a green apple even weave. It's 28 count, and I'm stitching it 1/1. So yeah, there it is. Okay, all right, I think I've got 2 more whips for you, so lots of stitching. The next whip is Saga from Long Dog Samplers. This was my leap day start, and my goal each week is to put in 550 stitches. So this time I put in 1,109 stitches. That puts me at 5.96%. 5% done, woohoo! I think I'm still on track with everything, which is nice. Obviously it's still early. I just started it 2 months ago, but nice to be on track. So here is what it looks like, the full pattern. I'm still up here in this first row, and I've completed, sorry, I'm working on this side. I've completed this one, and I now have completed the tail of 2 hives here, and I'm a little bit into this third arch here. And the story for that arch is called Dr. Harnzer's Air Academy. And I thought I'd just read you the little story because it's kind of cute. Every year, the young pupils in year 5 of Dr. Harnzer's Air Academy were required as part of the curriculum to undertake a long-distance migratory flight across water under strict supervision to test their stamina, wing feather development, navigational skills, and readiness to fledge. This year, the destination was the beautiful city of Arras in northern France with its arcaded Flemish-style Baroque facades. Before the long trip home, all of the classmates gathered on the rooftops in the main square with the professor to have a group cross-stitch taken. This is the group cross-stitch. George, the head boy, is seen here presenting his tutor, Professor Beak, with an oak branch for use as nesting material to commemorate the occasion. Smile, please. So I thought that was fun. You will see, so again, that's this little section right here. You'll see those little birds kind of standing on the buildings, taking their cross-stitch picture. And I thought that was super cute. So here's where I am this time, and you will see I'm taking a cue out from the Stitchin' Mommy, and I'm putting this, holding it in this tube. And the reason for that is I actually stitched this in hand this past time. So I was really getting tired of putting the hoop on and off the piece, and I was tired of seeing the hoop marks, and I don't know, it just wasn't working for me. So I thought, why don't I try stitching this in hand this week? So I tried it. Now, I had stitched in hand one other time with a very stiff Aida, and I liked it, but that was with a very stiff Aida. This is a very floppy linen, so I wasn't sure how it would go, but it actually went pretty well. And so I think for this piece, I'm going to try stitching it in hand from here on out. And so I will be rolling it up and putting it in that storage place from week to week as I stitch in hand. So you saw where it was last time. So this time I've now finished the Tale of Two Hives, which is this. I had one of these complete. I think I was working on the second one, and I added this little bee here and some of the stitching on this section. And then I got into the new story under this arch. So I think I just had the top section done before. So I completed all of this, added some of these designs, added this little flower here, and then I started stitching these cute little birds that are lining up for their cross-stitch picture. And that was so fun. I love the birds. So I think I've got like 3 or 4 more here to go. And then at the very end is the professor bird. And so that will be next time. But yeah, I really like it. It's coming along very nicely. So here's what I've got so far for the 3 arches. And I'm just gonna keep working my way across the top. And little by little, I will get there. But this has been fun. It's stitched on a 36 count vintage country mocha, and I'm using Silks For You thread, Silks PR 207, I believe it is. And I also, another new thing I did with this time is I was watching Jordan the Tattooed Stitcher. She did a little video just showing how she does the pin stitch. And because I'm stitching with one strand on 36 count, I was like, maybe I should try the pin stitch, because I'd been doing sort of the mock loop start and it's fine. I don't love it. So I was like, let me try the pin stitch. I liked it. So I'm gonna now be stitching in hand on that piece and using pin stitch for my starts. For my stops, I'm still pulling it under the back of the thread, but the pin stitch is a great way to kind of start. So if you're curious on the pin stitch or how to do it, check out Jordan. I'll link her channel below, Jordan the Tattooed Stitcher. Check out her little, I think it was only 6 or 7 minutes, but it was a really great video. You could really see what she was doing, and she explained it very well. So very helpful. But that was Saga. And okay, my last whip then is Mermaids of the Season, Sal from Bella Filipina. It's been a while since you've seen this. I had been, you'll see where I was at last time, but I had been working on the skin, stitching it 2/1 10 stitch, and then I just got sidetracked with Beyonce and WhipGo and everything. That seems to happen to me a lot. Maybe I need to lower my WhipGo numbers so I have time to get back to everything. But anyway, I picked this back up, and when I picked it back up, I couldn't stop. So you will see now that she is basically completed. So the only thing left to do on her is the beading. And so all the back stitching is done. I did the back stitching in the tail for her little tail veins here, the back stitching under the leaves that she's sitting on. Obviously all of her skin has back stitching, and then a little bit of the definition around her face, and then also the back stitching in the headpiece. So right now the headpiece looks a little barren, I guess, because there's so many beads that go up there. There's also beads in the flowers and just kind of beads everywhere. Anyway, I'm really happy to have gotten where I did. I put in 713 stitches. Approximately I'm at 15% of this project, but again, I'm not stitching the big border, so I think those numbers are kind of skewed a little bit. But yeah, this is the spring mermaid, and my goal for these is to have each mermaid completed in their season. So I've still got, like another month and a half of spring until summer starts. So that's plenty of time to do the beading on this. I would have started the beading, but I feel like for my first big beading piece, I'm gonna need a day where I don't have anything else to do. I can just pull out the beads and just kind of go to town and figure it out. So yeah, that's my goal. But otherwise, she's fully complete, and I really, really like her. I think she's really beautiful. I love this green tail, and you know, these flowers I thought were going to be a pain, sort of like the blossoms on Lilly, but These actually were kind of easier. I think because they're closer together, there's not as many color changes. They didn't bother me as much as the blossoms did on Lily of the Woods. So again, yeah, once I started, I think I only had like this part of the skin done. Once I started and really got her skin into place, and then I started on her hair, her beautiful hair, I couldn't stop. I just wanted to work on this. So I think there were times where I didn't stitch on other things like the Slumber Party Sal because I was working on this, and I just was loving it. So happy to have it basically completed except for the beading. So I think the next time you see this, I don't know if it'll be in 2 weeks or when it will be, but the next time you see it, this will be a finish for now, because I'm hoping that in one kind of sitting, 1 or 2 sittings, I can get all of the beading done. But yeah, really pretty. I'm happy to have my first mermaid kind of making progress. So, all right. Okay, so those were all of my whips that I was working on. I did have a new start. I've talked about this, and I was starting this with Kat from her channel is Catkin and Lilly. This was her birthday start, so we started this on May 2nd. This is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. This is what she looks like. And my fabric is a little bit different. You've seen it a couple times on here, but it's got kind of greenish on the bottom and then like a bluish at the top is the fabric I've got. So let me grab her real quick. All right, and I put 1,329 stitches in, so that completed my 1,000 stitches for the Whip Go additional square number 13, and I'm actually at 5.93% of this project, and I still have 2 more full days of working on her this month, which will get her even more progress. But here is where she's at. So maybe not the most exciting start, but I'm working on I'll show you the picture again. I'm working on all of this sort of like dirt and ground and kind of grass under her skirt, under her dress. And that's kind of where I am right now. So you can see I've got a lot of that kind of completed. I think she's actually going to just be about this wide. I think there is a little bit, it'll come over this way a little bit more. I think this is pretty much the edge. So she's going to be smaller than I was expecting, which is kind of nice. I also think that, so this is a 32 count linen by Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers. I think it's called Spring Showers. And they were able to kind of work with me and get the green section to the percentage that I wanted it of the whole fabric piece. But I think in the dyeing process, it might have made this very small because these X's are feeling very tiny, which does make me a little nervous when it comes to beading. I might just have to kind of skip a few beads here and there because I don't know if they'll all fit in correctly. But anyway, I think this is kind of the width that she'll be, which is exciting. Now, this brown color down here was actually Karen Water Lilies. I think it was in the colorway Espresso. And that was my first time working with Karen Water Lilies. I really, really liked them. This is also my first time working with variegated floss. So it took a little while to kind of figure out how I wanted to stitch in order to make it kind of look, the color changes look appropriate. I think when you hold it back, it looks beautiful. When you look when you look at it up close, you can kind of see there's some places where like it does look like it's just a line of color change, and I probably should have maybe gone up and down a little bit here or something to kind of switch it up a little bit. But this was a learning experience for me because I had never stitched with that before. Honestly, the hardest part of Karen Water Lilies was separating 2 strands. So it is a 12 ply. It comes as a 12 ply instead of 6 like DMC. And when I was trying to pull out 2 strands, it got so tangled and it was kind of a mess. But once I actually got the 2 strands out and put them on my needle and started stitching, it was a dream. I really enjoyed stitching with this floss. So I think Karen Water Lilies are silk. So yeah, so I finished all of them here in this bottom section, and then there'll be more in the tree branches when we get up towards the top of her. But for now, all of the Karen Water Lilies are finished in the bottom. So I'm just gonna keep working on the greens here, and I'd like to kind of finish all of the things under her skirt first, and then I can jump into the fun part of starting her skirt or her dress. So yeah, not the most exciting start, but it's where I am now. All right, and that was basically my stitching for these 2 weeks. I felt like I got a lot of progress, but as far as haul goes, I didn't get too much this time. I did purchase more of those arabesque scroll frames that you just saw for Lily of the Woods and Gaia. I kind of rearranged my office space. You'll see my Lowry is here, but I kind of switched directions on things and moved my desk around, and I'm much happier with how my Lowry is set up. I do still need to prop the scroll frame on the edge of my desk so that it doesn't wobble, but I found a way that it's working and I love it. So I bought more of those scroll frames because I really like using them on pieces like Mirabilia's or Bella Filipinas, and I think I'm going to, I want to have most of my projects on scroll frames. Not the smaller ones, but I think I'll still use Q-snaps, but I think I'm really finding now that what I enjoy stitching on are scroll frames or Q-snaps. The Nurge hoop is okay, but it's a little too thin. I think because my hands are big and it's like hard to hold the tiny Nurge hoop. I also don't like the creases that the Nurge hoop puts in the fabric. I feel like it creases it a lot more. So I think I'm going to stick with Q-snaps and scroll frames for the most part. But yeah, so I purchased those. I bought a few more of the Amazon like project bags just so I could store things in and kind of keep my projects organized in that way. I really like those and they're pretty cheap, so that's what I've been using. And I did get some fabric though, so sorry about the crinkle. I'm going to show you 3 different ones that I purchased. So this is a 32 count Belfast linen, and this is hand dyed. I'll put the Etsy store down below. I think it's Hand Dyed Fabrics PL maybe. So it came all the way from Poland, but this is just a beautiful lime green. Sorry about the glare. It's not coming across quite as limey as, let me see if I can get it better. It's more of like this kind of shade. It's a really bright lime green shade. Anyway, I saw this on her site and I was like, I need to have this. I don't know what I'll stitch on it yet, but I'm thinking something Christmassy. I kind of like when lime green is thrown into Christmas projects. So I'm not sure what, but maybe like a lavender and lace Santa on a lime green. That will kind of like make it pop, even though it's an older pattern. It kind of might bring some new life to it. I'm not sure. I still need to figure it out, but just loved it. And yeah, really happy to have that in my stash. The next one I got is I joined the Fox and Rabbit Fabric of the Month Club from Garonne Stitchery, and I signed up for the 40 count linen. So these are my first 40 count linens. So I've got to find a project to try it out and see how I like it. Maybe it'll be too small, but the first one I got was called Faded Hippie, and I'm not going to take it out of the packaging, but it's got this beautiful like kind of pinky modeling in this kind of orange fabric. Here you can see some of the pink. Yeah, it's really, really beautiful. I think it'll be perfect for a Mira, but it'll have to be a Mira with no beads because it's a 40 count. So if not a Mira, I will find something to stitch on this, and yeah, I'm excited to be in that club. So this was my first Fox and the Rabbit 40 count linen. And then I'm also in the Bestitch Me Fabric of the Month Club. That is a 32 count linen, and for April the color was April Showers, and it's just this beautiful blue, which I really like. Another great option for a mermaid, which I have plenty of to stitch. So yeah, those were my fabric haul. And I think honestly, that might be it. I didn't really get a whole lot else. So I unfortunately have had some more expenses with Winston. He had his like normal checkup at the vet, but it just lined up this year that all of his vaccinations needed to happen in 1 year. And so my bill from that was crazy. And then we also had his teeth cleaned. He had like a whole dental procedure. They did have to remove one tooth, but Otherwise, his teeth are in pretty good shape, but they were just kind of cleaning everything up. It's hard for me to get in there and brush his tiny little chihuahua teeth. And so that was also very expensive. So let's just say cross stitch I didn't make as many purchases this month. I've also got a trip lined up this coming weekend. I will be in Austin, Texas for a friend's wedding. So I might not get much stitching done this weekend, but I am going to take one project and hopefully be able to work on it on the plane a little bit. I've done that once and I'd like to try that again. So maybe I'll get some plane stitching in the weekend, but I've got that trip coming up, which will be a little bit more expensive. And then the following weekend, I've got my race volunteer commitment, and it's my other roommate's birthday, so we'll be celebrating for that. So just a lot happening in May. May feels kind of like the busiest month of the year so far. And on top of that, it's a busy cross-stitch month. So yeah, just taking one day at a time and seeing what I can get done. But yeah, again, thank you so much for taking your time to watch my channel. I know there's a million floss tubes out there that you can watch, and they're all so good. So thank you for stopping by mine. Keep running if you're a runner. Always keep stitching, and be kind to whoever you meet on your journey. Bye for now. Until the next stitch.